Well, hello there, dear folks and fellow YouTubers. My name is Nuclear Scality 7, and in today's video, I will be starting up a brand new walkthrough for Clive Barker's Undying as a way to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the game's release on February 19th, 2021 today. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you a few things. Got video here. Go ahead and go all the way up to 1600. New game. Gosh, that music reminds me of the Bram Stoker's Dracula soundtrack, as in the Francis Ford Coppola movie. I'm gonna go ahead and do easy, I believe. First, I'm gonna take a sip of this water. Just had to keep something from falling there.
I'm tired of traveling, or fighting superstition and its many manifestations. Even though it was me who chose to debunk folklore and mysticism. Little did I know I'd end up being labeled as Patrick Galloway, the man with endless occult knowledge. Before I knew it, people all over the world paid me to investigate all kinds of weird things. As long as they paid me, I'd look into it. Funny thing though, the more I saw, the more I believe there are forces beyond our control. Creatures not explainable in any human terms. Things that make my skin crawl. I fled from Ireland and hung around Paris and London with no real purpose till the Great War started. I joined a special unit whose job it was to squelch the fears of the superstitious farm boys who made up the fighting ranks. The Trasanti were the biggest pains. The commanding officer, Jeremiah Covenant, led our unit in the hunt for their camp. We were ambushed. They came streaming out of the woods, waving swords and howling like banshees. I saw their leader holding a strange stone over his head, yelling weird words in a strange tongue. And just when I was gonna pull the trigger, he glared right at me. A bright green flash came from his hand, and it bowled me over as my gun went off. I woke up in a hospital bed with severe burns. They told me Jeremiah and the unit had gone on without me, but he'd given me the shaman stone to keep. I hadn't given any of this much thought until I came back here to find this letter that Jeremiah wrote me almost 6 months ago.
The deodorant I use.
Asking me to come back to Ireland and help him out. This is not something I'm dying to do, for it may mean the death of me. He saved my life though, so I owe it to him. Just hope it's not too late.
Did I ever mention I look like a cross between Indiana Jones and the Nickelback singer, laddie? Yeah, he does, with the khaki clothing combined with the head and the hair and beard, I mean, yeah. Look at this. This is disturbing. My gosh, those late 90s, early 80s video games. Just want to make sure I turn something on.
You're Jeremiah's old war buddy, right?
Indeed.
Gosh, look at that grand Irish-British Victorian mansion. I like it. Or more like Elizabethan, I guess.
Jammed.
Jammed. My Irish accent is jammed. See if there's any way to get under here. Guess not. Ah, Patrick Galloway rolling his revolver like a Wild West cowboy.
I'm Patrick Galloway, a friend of Jeremiah's. Sorry it took me so long to get here. His letter said it was most urgent.
Jeremiah was beginning to think that the
Letter said my Irish accent was most urgent.
Anxious to see you.
I'm about half Irish myself in terms of ethnic background. I'm American born and bred, but I have roughly half Irish ethnic roots on my dad's side of the family. It's also my mom's too, actually, a bit of both.
I apologize for the look of the house, but there's only a skeleton crew of servants now. Jeremiah let go with everyone else, and the house
That is an
much too
epic
large
mansion,
for
if
us
I
to
might
clean.
say so myself.
Because we've lost electricity to most parts of the house, we can only maintain the living quarters. This family's had so much tragedy. I hope you can help him.
So, we're gonna meet up with our war buddy, Jeremiah Covenant, here in a bit. And, watch a spooky sequence coming up here. That's one of the ghosts haunting this old mansion. Let's grab this health pack for when we'll need it. Now, I don't know how to use all of the controls and the different functions just because it's been ages since I've played this game last.
Won't budge.
Won't budge. My Irish accent won't budge.
Jammed.
My Irish accent's jammed. Plus, I look like a cross between Indiana Jones and the Nickelback singer.
Patrick, you made it.
At your service, Jeremiah. Sorry for the delay, but I've been abroad. What happened to you?
It seems I've come under the watchful eye of the Reaper.
There's
my
Jeremiah
friend.
Covenant.
It's been a long
He
time,
always
hasn't it?
has reminded me of
Apparently too
Gordon
long.
Freeman from Half-Life.
Patrick, I came back from the war only to find my entire estate in disarray. My brother Aaron disappeared first, and then my sister Bethany. My declining health is a result of an old war wound, and unfortunately, the symptoms are irreversible. I didn't summon you here to watch me die. I need your help.
Anything I can do. Just name it.
Strange events began happening around the manor. After thinning out my staff, they ransacked my estate, taking whatever they could carry. The rest of the help was quick to follow, as they feared rumors of my family's curse. I can't help but think it's more than a coincidence that strange happenings have increased since I've been back from the war. I want to get to the bottom of this, but I'm just too weak to investigate it myself. I'm relying on you to step in for me.
Of course, Jeremiah. The only reason I risk coming back here is to assist you however I can.
My thanks to you, Patrick.
What the hell is that?
Sounds like it came from downstairs.
You'll notice Patrick Galloway's rather
I'll check it out.
robotic body
Lock the door
motions there.
behind me.
New journal entry. Now, I don't know how to look at those yet because, again, it's been so long since I've played this game last. Of course, I'll figure it out. Maybe look at one of the... Ah! I have arrived in time. Apparently just in time. Completely bedridden, Jeremiah is a shadow of his old self, appearing many pounds and a few shades lighter. His explanation for calling to me is still unclear. He speaks of strange happenings around the estate. Problems that he is unable to rectify in his weakened state, and has requested that I investigate. I, of course, agreed, before I could ponder where to begin my exploration. The servant who showed me to Jeremiah's room screamed from downstairs. Often where to begin is the most difficult step. There's that familiar ghost again.
Stuck.
Stuck. My Irish accent is stuck. Again, it doesn't help that I look like a cross between Indiana Jones and the Nickelback singer.
Jammed.
Jammed. My Irish accent is jammed.
Won't budge.
Won't budge. So clearly, we gotta go through this door here, as I briefly said in an Irish accent. Hey, creepy ghost. ghost.
Describe what you can only see. As the bonds of flesh are broken, the world becomes apparent.
My gosh, I almost forgot about that scene. Jump up higher to grab a little bit of bullets. Very Irish, British, kind of Elizabethan mansion. This game has a very historical romance novel. Looking forward to it if you ask me. And, of course, there's a health pack over there, should you need it. Let's go look at that window at Patrick Galloway himself. Again, as I said before, laddie, I look like a cross between Indiana Jones and the lead singer of Nickelback. Whatever the heck his name is, laddie. So, here, in this, one of these rooms, we're going to be meeting the first enemies. Looks rather demonic, that enemy there. He's no longer with us, I'm afraid. And there's another health pack, should we need it. I shot you down before you could do that, laddie. I am Patrick Galloway, always ready to run away. I am Patrick Galloway, always ready to run away.
Jammed.
Jammed. My sexy Irish accent. Jammed. Yeah, that's quite the royal coat of arms there. Not some more money. Help me, Patrick! New journal entry. I have just returned from the Standing Stones. Whatever inspired an ancient people to build these stones out on that windswept isle, I cannot guess. While I have seen sights like this before, something about the stones has resonance within me. Why would ancient people trouble themselves to build these monoliths on such an isolated island? It would have been far easier to establish a similar ritual area on the mainland itself. I find it curious that for as long as my family has owned this house, no one has taken it upon themselves to truly research the land which we own. Considering I had not returned to the manor since I was a child, I never realized the curious nature of my inheritance. Why does this area have such a strange collection of archaeological artifacts? While I strongly doubt there is any connection between Neolithic stones, a decaying monastery, and the tower that the estate was built and wraps itself around, the significance of the three major archaeological sites cannot be denied. The tower is a local legend itself. Supposedly, during a great storm, the tower just appeared on this site. Of course, no one can tell me when this happened. All I can tell is that it is a gutted shell of what it once was. No doubt, this is why it has been sealed off for so long. The monastery is now a crumbled ruin. It certainly is just a remnant of some reclusive order of monks. Seems that Ireland is dotted with these retreats. I'll have to travel out to the island someday. Perhaps I will take the children. Joseph. Wow, look what I discovered. Not sure I've ever discovered this before. Oh, I've gained something called an amplifier. I jumped down there, but I doubt that's safe because it probably hurt me pretty bad. So I'm just going to go down here because I noticed some ammo down there out of the corner of my eye. So I'm just going to go grab that while I'm thinking about it. I am Patrick Galloway, always ready to run away. won't budge. My Irish accent won't budge. Here it is, laddie. Picked up. Now I've got even more bullets than I did before, laddie. Now I'm gonna walk up this fleet of status again, laddie. There he is. Now I'm afraid he's dead as a doornail, laddie.
Jammed.
Those beasts were after me.
What in God's name were those things?
They're called howlers.
Oh, that's right.
While
That's
I've
what
never
those are
seen one
called.
before
Howlers.
tonight, I've heard of them for years.
Those weren't natural, my friend. We're fighting more than superstitions here.
Perhaps I was being naive not to tell you, but there might be something more sinister at work here. When I was a boy, I encountered something I can't quite explain. You see, there was this isle of standing stones that sits just off the estate. Someone had carved a sigil into each of the stones, something indiscernible. Father had many books on the occult, one of which contained a sketch of that very symbol. I took my brothers and sisters out to the island and read from my father's book.
Well, what happened?
Something answered. The ocean began to boil, and a great wind whipped against us as we stood in the circle, and my siblings huddled to the ground in fear. Eventually, the wind died, and the sea settled. Patrick, I know it sounds like the ravings of a dying man, but I believe those standing stones had something to do with this. What has once been a taint upon this family has now begun to manifest itself.
But you told me you're dying. Doesn't this curse end with you?
Who knows? My brothers and sisters are dead, but I don't think they're really gone. I've heard some servants whispering. They think they've seen Elizabeth on the estate. My family has come for me. I sense them, Patrick. By now, you and I know the supernatural exists. You saw
I'm a
the
firm
howlers.
believer in the supernatural
And what about
myself.
our encounters with the Tersante during the war? You still even carry the gel.
New journal entry. Ah. Now I know how to save, at least. A piece to the puzzle. The scream downstairs was the result of an attack by a beast. Something Jeremiah calls a howler. Similar to a dog, the animal was pale in complexion, had claws as long as my arm, and could leap several meters from a dead stop. I killed the fiend, but before I could thoroughly inspect the corpse, it vanished without a trace. Upon questioning Jeremiah, I am a little more unnerved than I was after seeing the howler. He told a story involving his brothers and sisters, an isle of standing stones, and a sorcery book of his late father's. Apparently, the Covenant children, led by Jeremiah, went to the island and read from this strange book. He maintains it was simply a prank to scare his kin. He believes something from within the rain of stones answered back, raging the sea, angering the wind, and shaking the earth. Since that time, Jeremiah has been visited by terrible misfortune. All of his brothers and sisters have passed away. I recall one late night in a foxhole, Jeremiah showed me a picture of the youngest sister, Elizabeth. No more than a teenager, she was so striking I found it hard to concentrate on his descriptions of the others. Anyway, Jeremiah is not completely convinced they are indeed dead. Well, to be precise, he's not sure they have remained dead. I suspect that these are delusions brought on by his memory of that day at the Stones. Otherwise, I can only imagine this as a terrible prank played upon a dying man. But if they are only delusions, why not inform me of them when we first spoke? Why would he not write me of such in his letter? Perhaps he did not think I would come. Back to game, laddie. Oh my gosh, this is such a funny sequence. So we've got something called ectoplasm. The scroll Jeremiah gave me has revealed a powerful spell. Seems that with proper concentration and focus of my mana, I am able to release ethereal bolts of ectoplasm from my hand. unreliable at far range. The mystical damage seems quite effective in close quarters. It's good to know this is how you select weapons. So you just press B. I mean, not B, E on the keyboard, I mean. Oh, don't do that. Oh. Didn't mean to hit that, laddie. Loading. Victorian statue. Now we're gonna meet up a new character here.
Have you noticed anything strange going on?
Apparently, Elizabeth's room was broken into last night during the commotion.
Where's her room?
Just down the hall from here. It's quite a mess.
New journal entry. The butler said someone broke into Elizabeth's room. Perhaps I should investigate. More like I should investigate my Irish accent.
Won't budge.
Look, those lion heads door knockers. Those are cool.
Need a key.
So we need Bethany's room key to be able to get in there.
Won't budge.
Won't budge.
Jammed.
Jammed. My accent is jammed.
Locked.
And we need the study key to be able to go there, unfortunately. Hadn't realized until playing this now how cinematic this game is. It's really awesome.
Tell me what you know about Lisbeth.
Why, she was a fetching young lass. Quite the fiery temper, though. She could be placid and calm 1 minute, and then suddenly she's spitting curses and swinging her nails at you like an animal. 'Tis a pity her mother died birthing her.
Indeed.
Following her mother's death, I'd raised Lisbeth like my own. In the end, the wasting sickness got her. I'd cared for her when she was sick and watched her wither away to nothing. Pity a young woman has to die in the spring of her life. Now she rests with her poor mother at the family mausoleum. The groundskeeper claims to have seen her recently. Oh man, seeing a ghost is never a good omen.
Where can I find this groundskeeper?
He's out in the gardens. You can get there through the kitchen.
Your knowledge is appreciated. Thank you.
I spoke with the maid about Elizabeth. The siblings' mother, Evelyn, apparently died while giving birth to her, and the housekeeper filled the void of her maternal absence. She said Elizabeth was a very beautiful girl with a short, violent fuse who passed away from a wasting disease. I take note of the irony of someone who was so beautiful dying of such a heinous disease that calls for the destruction of their vanity. The maid said that the groundkeeper believes to have seen Elizabeth alive. Having seen Elizabeth with my own eyes, I can only believe this maid's frightful testimony. I'll go down to the kitchen and try to find my way out to the gardens anyway. Now, just something I'm going to mention quickly. No, I'm not going to end the video just yet, but I'm not going to end the video as soon as the level ends, because sort of like Killing Time, the 90s FPS that I started a walkthrough for a couple months ago, you know, Clive Barker's Undying does not divide things by levels. It's just a continuous exploration of the Covenant estate and its many areas and sections. So I'll just have to find a random point at some point to save before I quit the video. Alright, back to game in the meantime. You can also, with the right-click button, use this mouse button to see a different version of a portrait or painting. On nights when I cannot sleep, I look from my bed to the monastery out of my window. The reflections of the waters that separate us ripple across my bedroom walls, filling the room with waves of moonlight. If it isn't quiet enough and the wind is still, I can bear them chanting. Their prayers will roll across the water and fall upon my ears like a lullaby, rocking me to sleep. It fills my body with such a quiet peace, yet I cannot help but wonder how something that provides so much security could at the same time haunt me. At midnight, the chanting stops. The brilliant lights of the monastery go black except for a tiny glow that emanates from the entrance to the catacombs. As I watch that single light, I can see the shadows of the monks at the entrance. It is then that I feel a slow creeping dread rise from my stomach, as if the island somehow has a hold of me. I have overheard bits and pieces of a story from bushed conversations about monks who died a horrible death years ago among these grounds. It is said that tortured souls were put to rest within the catacombs, and that their two brothers have stood guard at the entrance each night since. I cannot help but wonder why. What are they waiting for, or hoping to ward off? Are they bound to the island with the same unknown force as I? The Lord works in such mysterious ways, but how can a just God allow his own flock to die within sacred grounds? Surely there's another force working among us, one capable of pure evil. A loving God could never allow such pain and agony. It is that force that eats at me at night and leaves my dreams unsettled. Are the waters enough to keep me safe? I wish once I could lie in the grass outside the catacombs for a night and put these haunted dreams to rest. I must end these nightly visions and seek the truth. Elizabeth. Let's look at Studley Patrick Galloway. Get to the best close-up yet. It's a rather funny-looking facial expression, laddie. Especially made funnier by the fact that it looks like a cross between Indiana Jones and the Nickelback singer. Again, whatever the heck his name is. Okay, now, we need to go through the... Ah, that's how you get health, laddie. Excellent. Look at my Indiana Jonesy white shirt, laddie. Slightly open, revealing my handsome chest. Alright, we need to go through the kitchen area to find that one man, laddie.
Help me!
Oh no, not them again, laddie. How did I not get hurt once, laddie? Oh no, the blood is staining up the nice elegant floor of this manor. Oh no. She died, laddie. They broke through that window. Now that is terrifying, laddie. Look at it one more time, laddie. Oh, just kidding. I did randomly do that to be funny. Well, at least with new enemies means new enemies. surprised I haven't gotten hurt or injured once by the howlers yet. At least not for what I can tell. There's a way to talk to him. He's clearly been a bit injured. He lives on within our memories, laddie, even though he doesn't actually live on at all. It's just truly a pity that my dear wife Evelyn passed away, birthing Elizabeth. She would have loved to see them all grow. I cannot help but think that she would have been able to tame this wild streak that they all have established lately. A mother is a soothing influence. I unfortunately cannot offer them this solace. I wish I could understand what brought on this recent behavior. I have received a letter today from Ambrose's boarding school. He has been expelled. I don't know what to do with that boy. With the behavior of the children so appalling, I have no choice but to bring them home. Perhaps I can find a tutor. I hope being under my watchful eye will calm their spirits. The last 6 weeks have been terrible. The tutor was a complete disaster. In fact, the poor man just packed his bags and left in the night. Any form of discipline is hopeless with Ambrose and almost seems completely lost on the others. The only thing I've been able to do is play to their interests. I have noticed that each child has their own avid curiosity. Strange to see it manifest at such an early age, but who am I to discourage the one moment of peace I can find with them? I now understand why the children are behaving wildly. Jeremiah came to me frightened and crying. Several years ago, the children broke into my library and procured one of my research books, without my knowledge. But how was I to know a 12-year-old boy would take interest in those dusty tomes? I do not know what passage they read, but I suspect that it has led to the current predicament concerning their behaviors and eccentricities. Jeremiah says they woke the spirits of the island. Hopefully I can determine what the children have done. Perhaps there is a solution. I have pored over the volumes of research, and I am no closer to understanding what Jeremiah and the children may have conjured. None of the incantations in the books could have caused this to happen. Calling a daemon or consulting spirits should not have such a long-lasting, disturbing effect. I even traveled to the stones. Nothing there gave me clues to what has happened. Perhaps if they had only told me at the time, I would have more insight. Now any clues would be long gone. I have determined the stones are some sort of focus. Perhaps there is a reason so many people have been attracted and repulsed by this land. It seems that my own fascination with the standing stones has wrought its corruption upon my children. Joseph. How does his body disappear, laddie? Where did the sound of his ghost come from?
Stuck.
Stuck.
Won't budge.
My Irish accent is stuck. This is a creepy game. Where's all the baby crying come from? Ah, new journal entry, laddie. Oh my gosh, that's so cheesy. Look at how he runs back. Let's do that up close and personal so we can see what it looks like when he runs. Look to my funny running pack, laddie. I am Patrick Galloway, always ready to run away. I gained a health pack, laddie. Oh, I saw them in the mirror, laddie. Die, laddie. I am Patrick Galloway, always ready to run away. Where's that baby crying come from? Dearest mother, all is not well here at the Covenant Estate. Joseph, my husband, who once charmed me with his goodwill and smile, now seems distant and reclusive. I realized that when we met, there are those imperfections one must look past and that your heart helps you to forgive. However, Joseph's strange obsession keeps him in the library at all hours of the night. Seldom are we spending time together, and even more rarely does he want to exercise his husbandly right towards me. I'm beginning to feel inadequate, especially when he talks of his desire for children prancing around the estate. What am I to do? I bide most of my time alone in the greenhouse, reminiscing of my sweet youth and the rich and gallant Peter O'Connor, who would wait patiently on me and shower me with expensive gifts like my beloved pearl necklace. Things could have been different had I kept that social path. Instead, I feel like I'm the fool for getting involved with Joseph Covenant. His prime moments are being spent in his library with books twice as old as me. Apparently, my visage can't garner his attention. What dear advice could you give me, dearest mother? I'll be waiting for your response. I hope that this letter finds you and Father well. Tell Father not to worry about his little Robin, that I have left the nest, but shall never leave his heart. With love, Evelyn. Stuck. My Irish accent is stuck. Alright, I think we need to go down here, laddie. Alright, laddie. Let's see what's here first, laddie.
Stuck.
Okay, so clearly we need to go through here, laddie. Very Irish British architecture. Just want to see if this reveals anything interesting, as Patrick Galloway himself would say. Look, where we are, laddie.
Is that the door to the gardens?
Yes, it is. However, I don't have the key. I lent it to the maid. I believe she's cleaning Herr Keisinger's room today. It's located in the east wing of the house.
Thanks. I appreciate your help.
New journal entry. The door to the manor gardens is locked. The cook says the maid is the only one with the key, and she is cleaning Keisinger's room in the east wing. Keisinger? While that name might not ring true for the servant, I'm deeply disturbed that Otto Keisinger would even be here. What the hell does that bastard want with my friend and his family? I can only be sure that when our paths cross, he will get more than a stern word from me. I only wonder how he plans to answer my questions when my hands are gripped tightly around his throat. Otto has done more damage to my reputation than I care to remember. I have no doubts that I should find out I've made it out to the Covenant estate. He'll stop at nothing to foil my attempts at uncovering the mysteries that seem to be plaguing this family and my dear friend.
Need a key.
Need the garden key.
Stuck.
Stuck.
Jammed.
Jammed. Got to figure this out, laddie.
Jammed.
My older brother, Kevin, once said that this game kind of reminds him vaguely of Castlevania, and I do see what he means 100%. There's Elizabeth, alright. Ah, that's the first time they got to me alive.
Stuck.
We've clearly not been here yet, laddie.
Where is it?
I love his high whiny voice. It's kind of
I
funny.
know it is around here someplace.
I know it is around here someplace.
Ah, here it is.
Just want to see what that ghost is doing. Oh, look what I was able to get by just shooting it down. Reddish leaves swirl in the wind like lost souls in search of rest, like an open sketchbook focused on my dreams. This land is forever pictured as a comforting autumn dusk, replete with a golden sky with crackling river water and bubbling marshes that dot the land. Feels like a romantic artist's canvas. Upon further investigation, I have sensed horrendous visions of a gnarled doom decorated as a picturesque facade in this endless autumn dusk. Spiny trees root deep into the foul earth, licking the ground dry of all that is good. Carcasses populate the brush, their putrid remains swallowed whole by the land. Corners of this malevolent area are teeming with vicious, ungodly prey, all whilst the grass stretches over this land, twisting together like veins of pulsating sinew, as if the ground were alive, keen of the inhabitants that preyed on its back. Beady black soulless eyes flash across the air. Tiny quick-winged bats streak through the bright sky. Flying razors waiting for the perfect moment to descend. As they swoop by, I see sharp, bloodied teeth, a wicked demonic smile. From the darting blurs, I hear an ominous whistling that chills my soul. They own the skies here, wraith-like hooded minions, overseers without heart or soul, patrol this land. Slash and stitch techniques permeate their faces, arms patched together like cheap quilts, using the skin from the bodies of rank corpses. They gather and live like packs of rabid wolves, instigating fights for supremacy. These abominations thirst for my destruction. They are mostly cluttered around footpaths that seem to traverse upward along a cliffside, but alternate groupings are planted among watering holes and the hollowed trees. Further down the path, it is as if the shadows are swallowing the surroundings whole, without a penchant of logic or drop of meaning. It is as if the only reason for this actually lies in darkness itself, like royalty that rules the black void, entombed in the night infinite. It is she, the eternal mistress of shadows, Adin. Get back here, you cowardly howlers. I needed that, laddie.
The great hall of paintings. There is the truth. Image becomes reality. He will rise again. The ritual continues through our blood.
Look at that gnarly painting. That is disgusting and gruesome, but I love it. A little bit of classic Clive Barker body horror on the right here, that is. That's pretty nasty. See if there's any other paintings that are made demonic. Nope, just that one over there. You use the West Wing key. Awesome. Well, folks, since I've got something major accomplished here, I believe that will end part 1 of my Clive Barker's Undying 20th anniversary walkthrough. Remember, if you like this video, please hit that like button below, and if you want to see more of my videos, please hit that subscribe button below. And I shall see you all when I see you all in the next video, folks. Till then, though, my name is Nuclear Scholar 7. Goodbye for now, and have an excellent and wonderful rest of your day. Amen.